one of my responsibilities at work is to replace the lighting ballasts in all the lights when they go out. And Sean and I realized that some lights in the cooler were out as well, and we went in there to change some ballasts. Found that they were very old, so we decided to change all of them. And we realized that we couldn't put in the new ballasts because the new ballasts are wired differently than the old ballasts. The old ballasts are magnetic ballasts, and the new ones are electronic. And that was on a Tuesday, and our managers were out all week, so we had to wait for them to get back. So when they got back, I decided to look to see where some wires ran to see how feasible it was to rewire in there. And I opened a box inside the cooler, and I found this. All water coming out of that electrical box. And here is what that box looks like. You can see a whole lot of corrosion and rust in the bottom of it. So my first thought was to go turn off the power to the cooler so we can get that fixed. And this is where the power comes in. The power comes down and split two ways. The left goes to the main condenser for the cooler, and the right goes into another split where it goes to the power switch and also the live that goes to the cooler, and it goes to the fans inside. Here's that view. The box is at the top. Power comes down into this box. Left goes to the switch, and the right goes inside the cooler. Here's a view of that box. I had to cut the blue wire. The blue wire in this cooler is live. Here's a quick little sketch of what that box looks like. You can see at the top the blue is coming in, and then the blue is going to the left with neutral, going to the switch, and the orange is coming back from the switch. So the orange is the switched live. And then to the right you can see the blue constant live, the ground, the gray neutral, and the switched orange going to the inside of the cooler. So then I had to figure out which wire is which, because there's a black wire in here, not a blue one. And that's when I realized I had to go back up top and open another box and see here that the blue turns to black. So I had to figure that out. Here's a view of that rusted, corroded box in a quick sketch. You have the black, which is now the constant live. It used to be blue. You have the gray, which is the neutral. You have the switched orange, switched live. And you have the green ground. The green ground and the constant live are going straight through to the four-door side of the cooler. And then you have this black wire and this gray wire going to the two-door side. And it's important to note that that black wire is now going to the two-door side. The black wire is now switched live on that side. So here's the four-way switch I installed. We installed a four-way outlet. Install a four outlet instead because we're going to replace the tubes in the cooler with LED strips and plug those into this outlet, which is now a switched outlet, instead of rewiring the entire fridge to accommodate new tubes. There it is before, there it is after. Now, where all that water came from, on the left side you can see it's right next to the roof of the cooler, and the warm air from the outside comes down this conduit. It meets with the cool air from the right conduit there and meet in the center right where that box is. So I stuffed some stuff on the outside and the inside of the conduit on the left there to fix that problem. Now, the other issue I was finding is those two wires that were going to the right conduit here. There's only a switched live and a neutral going through this conduit. So I followed it around the roof to the other side, and I opened this box and I found that only a switched live is going to this side, which means all the power for the door heaters and the light bulbs are on that side. And this side of the cooler, these two doors always sweat. The four-door side never sweat, and these two doors always sweat. They always drip water. And I found out why, because they're switched. the door frame heaters are only on when the lights are on, when the switch is on. So you can see here that the four-door side has both a constant live and a switched live going to it, and the other side just has a switched live. So here, up there, you can see where I stopped the leak, or stopped the condensation from happening inside the box. And now here's where the perfect project takes a little turn. I was very proud of myself for fixing the problem and getting it all nice and neat, and also fixing a problem that we didn't really know was a problem, which was the door heaters. And I was really happy. Now, when I cut the live with the cooler, I didn't know what breaker was what. The managers run around, and I just wanted to cut off the power to the inside. I didn't want to cut off the condenser because the cooler would get hot. So I cut it off here, cut it live. I had electrician's gloves on, and I was not grounded. I was off on a plastic ladder, and I cut it. No problem. No sparks, no arcs, shocks. It was fine. I've done it before. When I came back to this, I obviously wasn't thinking, and I went ahead and went to strip the live wire coming in, and I got a little shock. But luckily, I wasn't grounded. I wasn't also holding neutral. I wasn't holding ground. I wasn't touching any metal. And I just got like a severe version of a kid's toys shock. And I got off the ladder, laughing nervously. And I went over and asked which breaker was what. And I turned off the breaker, did all my work, connected everything, turned it back on, and everything was fine. And that's how we rewired the cooler and made it up to date.